Welcome to They Mostly Potted at Night. Mostly, I am Salem, joined by my co-host Graveyard.
Hello.
This is episode 184. Yes, that's 184 of our weekly All Things Horror podcast. We continue our journey into the classic 50s horror world that we're doing all month this month with some time-tested classics. So join us for some giant ants, some pod people, and of course, the white-headed fly.
That poor fly or flies that had to get painted.
Yeah, I know. It's like, if a fly had the head of a man, I'm pretty sure I'd tell the difference from like a normal fly head.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes.
But obviously it's the 50s. They got like one FX shot per movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, they wasted it on the later in the movie, but we'll get there.
Yes.
So we'll start off with Them! Exclamation mark. Which, if you don't know, is the giant ant movie. So if you've seen the giant ant, videos, pictures, memes, whatever, this is the film that they come from.
Also really hard to look for on streaming stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially for me because I don't have punctuation in my search thing. So
Right.
Yeah, so I type in Them, and there's like 1,000 movies called Them, or that start with Them, or have Them in the title.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a challenge. But Them, with the exclamation mark, from 1954, starts off where there's like a bunch of kind of seemingly unconnected attacks, right? There's like an attack on like I don't know, what is that, an RV or something?
A pull behind trailer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so like an RV, there's like the whole wall of this RV is ripped out, and the people are gone, and they find a bunch of like sugar cubes, and then they find a child that had like, walked away and escaped that is now in shock. They find like a big, like a barn that was like storing sugar.
Yeah.
That had been broken into, and a bunch of people were killed and thrown around and stuff. But they found a body that time, like the other ones that sometimes they didn't see bodies.
Yeah.
They found an old man that had gotten like thrown in like some storage box thing. So they're, they find a bunch of like evidence of like, oh, look at these like footprints we found. We better like search and see what kind they are. And they, they can't find any matches. And then somehow it gets routed through the Department of Agriculture.
Well, they also said like, for analysis, sent these footprints to a zoologist. Like, what? Why? At that point in time, why?
Well, because they're not people prints. They're obviously some kind of animal prints.
I guess.
Whatever. So it somehow gets routed through the Department of Agriculture, and this like old man scientist whose pants are very high, and his daughter, who's also a doctor, and all the men have a very hard time calling her doctor.
She's like, just call me by my name.
Yeah, they're like, Doc, you're a doctor. Like they're all, again, this is 1954. So they're like, oh, this is interesting. Let's go look at these sites. Ooh, this is interesting. Like, okay, what do you see? Like, oh, we'll tell you later. Oh, yeah, well, we'll tell you later. We haven't quite figured it out yet. Oh, let's go to this other location. Oh, yeah, okay, it seems to be exactly what we thought it was. Okay, what's that? Not yet. Okay. Again, they're just giving us, suspense as an audience, I guess. And then, the daughter is attacked by, of course, a giant ant.
Yep.
Giant ant being like, I don't know what, 6 feet tall and like 10 feet long, maybe.
Yeah. If you ever watch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, their ant that they had, it's the same practical effect. It could have been the same ant for all I know.
Well, these were very furry ants.
Yeah, that's true.
So like the giant ants, and they're like, oh man, so that she runs and screams, and they like shoot it a whole bunch of times. And they end up killing the one because the one cop for some reason had a Tommy gun in his car.
Hell yeah!
So he unloaded the Tommy gun into the ant, and it died. And they're like, so now they know there's these giant ants, right? So then they go on a search of like the desert, because this is like in like New Mexico, I think, in the desert, and they find this like giant hole in the ground, and they're like, oh look, this is the nest. So they bring all this like fucking nerve gas and like napalm and grenades and all kinds of shit, and they like go into the nest, and they find like the egg chamber, and they blow it up. But in the egg chamber, I guess they find evidence that princess ants have been hatched, which are ants that are like queens with wings, and their sole purpose is to like fly away
and become a queen.
Far distance away, and then create another colony. So the evidence of that these things have been hatched and they are now gone, which means that they have flown away, and there's probably more ant nests out there. So they go on this like massive search. They bring in like, I don't know, like the FBI and the army and like all these people to try to like gather more information. They interview a bunch of people who've like, oh, I've seen flying saucers that look like ants, and they're like, oh yeah, that's great information, thank you. By the way, we're not going to tell the doctors that you're not insane. We're going to leave you locked in this mental institution because we want to keep it secret.
Yep.
And they do that a whole bunch. Everybody that finds anything out and they get information from, they just like, oh yeah, that's great, thank you, and then they just leave them alone, let them suffer in their plight. So then they basically figure out they found a couple of them. I think they found one that they said they were going to get rid of, but that one happens off screen. But then there's another one that they find has come to Los Angeles somewhere, but they can't figure out where it is. And so they're like looking around Los Angeles. They end up, there's a report of like 2 missing children. And there's a guy who had gotten stung by the ant and died. And they when they found his body, they figured out, oh, the ant must have killed him. So then they're like on this search to try to find these boys. And they ended up kind of narrowing it down to the ants are living in the sewer system or drainage system or something like directly connected to the LA River. So they get like a bunch of Jeeps and a bunch of soldiers, and they're all like driving around in there to try to find where the nest is. Of course they find it. Of course they find the boys. They have a big fight with the ants where they're setting them all on fire, and there's lots of grenades and missiles and all kinds of explosive-y things. They get to the egg chamber, and they find more princess ants, but this time they haven't left yet.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, okay, so we got them in time, like kill them all. They burn them and kill them all, and they're like, yeah, so that sucks that everybody died and all these bad things happened, but you know what? We stopped them. They're not going to happen anymore. But
dun dun dun.
Yeah, the atomic age has come, which means that all of this is just the beginning of the, because these ants were affected by the Los Alamos trials in 1945. That's how they got so big, is they got radiated, and so now we're in the atomic age. This is just the first animal to be radiated. There will be more.
What have we unleashed?
Yeah, exactly. And that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, to 2026, still waiting on more giant ants.
We get giant grasshoppers. So.
Well, not like larger than me.
The beginning of the end.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be super terrified. I would probably be less scared of them if they were that big, because then I could shoot them. Well, yeah, obviously they're not going to sneak up on me when I'm fucking sleeping, right?
Right.
Because they have to like tear my house apart. But I can like shoot them, with like a gun. Because like a regular ant or like a cockroach or something. I mean, yeah, I guess you can technically shoot them, but you're going to do a hell of a lot of more damage to your house.
Yeah,
trying to shoot them. But yeah, if they're like that big, like they're doing damage anyway, you can just shoot them.
Well, just shoot their antenna. Come on.
Right. Yeah. These cops with these little snub-nosed 38s are going to somehow nail an antenna at 100 yards.
He did? Twice?
I know. In the movie, yes, he did. In real life, that would not happen.
Correct.
And the Tommy gun also wouldn't hit shit either. especially whatever, but it's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it.
Was this your first time seeing this?
My first time seeing it all the way through, yes.
Okay.
I could have told you the plot of the film without having watched it again, because I know it, but like I've only seen bits and pieces of it here and there. You know what I mean? So this is my first time like watching it from beginning to end on purpose.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what wasn't this essentially this movie, the whole matinee thing with John Goodman in the 90s is them making fun of this movie?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Never mind. I thought so. But yeah. You want to go first with your highlights, or want me to go first?
I go first.
Okay.
I think the kind of the build up mystery in the beginning is interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't go straight in with the monsters. I don't know if that was because they knew the monsters wouldn't look all that great, and they were like trying to keep them out for as much as possible, which is probably, I think both are true. But it was interesting, just seeing like the aftermath of what happened to them, and little clues here and there, but not seeing them until it was about 30 minutes in before they showed up. And it's only like an hour and a half movie. So
yeah.
So Tommy gun in a police car, that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I'm pretty sure that didn't really happen, especially not in the 50s.
No.
Again, this is your classic atomic monster, right? This is like, what have we unleashed? The things that have happened because of what we've done to, splitting the atom, blah, blah, blah. This is like, I guess one of the root, monsters of that. So many branched off of that. But this is one of the more classic ones. We get lots of ant facts.
we do.
You learn a lot about ants. They show like literally like ant documentaries and shit in the middle of the movie, which is pretty fun. And like they were actually setting those giant ants on fire. Like that was actually happening. Like I can't imagine like how much time it took to build those things,
just
and then
they're
just
them.
like just setting them on fire. It was that was fun. That's all I got.
Yeah. The mystery is there. Like they're like, oh, this was pulled from the outside, pulled inwards, right, or outside. So it's like they thought maybe something crashed through. They're like, no, they're just metal being torn in there. Now, ants going after sugar cubes must be very desperate for sugar to go after the people like that. Like
well,
the train full of sugar. Yes.
Well, again, they're in like the fucking Dust Bowl, like New Mexico. So yeah, that's probably the only sugar you're gonna find for 100 miles.
Yeah. I thought the ants were good. It wasn't just ants, blown up to seem big, like Night of the Lepus, which just literally rabbits. But it's there's a lot of work that went into the ants. So they probably had 20 of them.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of them. Yeah,
which that's a lot of effect budget for that.
Well, yeah, most of them were just like sitting still, and they would just like sway their heads back and forth. But some of them actually had moving parts.
Well, and because they were all being like lit up and blown up and stuff, so they had to destroy them or rebuild them. So they actually just didn't reuse it nonstop, right?
Right.
It's 1954, and like the idea of cops didn't hit movies yet. You know what I mean? Like the cops are like just flat out heroes.
Well, I know this is a long debate, but police with the kind of policing mentality that exists these days didn't really exist back then.
Right.
That didn't really start happening until like the 80s.
Right.
So yeah, this is the age of like, old school policing. I'm not saying there weren't corrupt cops. Of course there were.
Yeah.
But the attitude of police that exists today did not exist back then.
Right. And that just, that it's a time capsule of it essentially at this point,
Right.
Which I just, you forget about stuff like that, especially with movies today for the past 40 years. that it's just kind of that way, right? And of course, the atomic age, just like I love that they're just going, hey, let's we should have done this. It took like what they said, it's been 7 years since the atomic bomb was dropped. Like, we can't, like, who knows what's there.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, the testing was in 1945, so yeah, it was less than a decade.
Yeah. And I'm just like, wow. And then they like mutated, like, there could be thousands, hundreds, or 20.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, just I would say that's about it. I'll roll in my low points. Obviously, the screeching nonstop of the ants.
You mean ants don't make screeching noises like that?
No. Of all our ant facts, I think that was completely wrong. I like that they talked like, it's like stupid. Like, I saw flying saucers in the shapes of ants. Like, what?
You just saw giant ants. That's all you saw. Why do you gotta say flying saucers? I guess this make them seem crazy, I guess.
Yeah. Like I said, the doctor, for being the lead scientist, the doctor is quite dumb with everything else that's clearly not ants. Like, he's like, you're in the helicopter and he's just talking like they'd be able to hear each other in the helicopter. And then he goes, he gets a headset, and like he holds it like people hold like a cell phone, a phone, like can't put it over his own ears to be able to listen to it. Like, he's just dumb. And
that's what you call thin intelligence.
And
so very smart with one specific thing, but dumb as shit with everything else.
Yeah. I think they definitely hit a quota for Wilhelm screams in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I would say, other than the woman, the female doctor scream, everything else was a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, like multiple. It would be like multiple Wilhelm screams in a row.
Yeah. And like, wow, that's an awful lot. And it's, they're talking about all the stuff that goes with it, with the ants and everything else. And they're like, well, normally they'd, maybe dig down 20 feet, right? A normal anthill. Like, they're going to dig down hundreds of feet. I'm like, there's a layer that they're not going to be able to get past pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, like, you're going to try to get in there. Like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. You're going to hit like the water basin and flood everything. Like, they would not be able to do that. So like that scaling of an anthill would never work unless we're in a mountain.
No, I mean, yeah, like dumping fire in there, like, that's a better idea than trying to go down and look in there.
Correct. And then wearing their gas masks, that it doesn't seem like they do much of anything.
Well, they also dumped some kind of like nerve gas or something. They didn't really talk much about that.
Right.
But they did.
Yeah. And like the doctor's like, don't stop shooting. Like, no, you're trying to kill them all. Keep shooting and keep, those mini rocket launchers that guy just kept loading.
Right.
So
another thing that was interesting in this movie is that they used the old school way of using like the RPG with the rifle. Did you see that?
Yeah.
But yeah, like they would take the, like the M1 and they would like attach this grenade at the end of it, and then they would fire and it would like launch it. But the thing is, like, those, you had to load a blank in it. So like you had a blank round and you'd put the grenade on there and then you'd fire the blank and it would like shoot it off. But if you use the real round, it would explode on the gun.
Yeah.
And that happened a bunch, which is why they never used that again. But yeah. Sergeant Rock taught me that.
Oh.
You know who Sergeant Rock is?
G.I. Joe.
No, Sergeant Rock was a comic series, like a World War II comic series. For some reason, I had a bunch of them. Like, somebody had given me them. Like some older person was like, "Oh, you like comic books? Here you go." And I'm like, "What the is this?" Like, it was like Sergeant Rock. It was like World War II comic books. But anyway, there was like they explained. They would like have a little section in like each one where they talk about like weapons and stuff that they would use in the war, and they specifically talked about that. It was pretty interesting.
Huh. But yeah, those are all my low points.
All right. So my low points. Okay, the cop was investigating the RV, and he goes in there and he sees a gun on the ground, and he like uses a pen to like he puts the pen inside the barrel of the gun, and he's like, "Oh look, ooh, smell it, see if it's been fired and stuff. Okay, put it back down where I found it." I'm like, "Oh, they're actually gonna like follow evidence protocol in this movie," and then he just picks up the pieces of ant, like, "Oh, what's this? Like, why? Why did you bother trying to follow it in the beginning and then break it immediately?" It was so goofy. But yeah, and that was the last time they tried preserving any evidence. But he did do it in the beginning. I liked how they cured the little girl's trauma with a shot glass. Like, oh, she's trauma. Give me a shot in a glass, and they just like put it underneath her nose, and she's like, oh, and then she just comes out of it. Like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. Again, everybody had a problem calling the lady a doctor.
Yep.
There wasn't a scene of her serving coffee. I was very surprised. It's like almost all these movies, they have the poor lady like, oh, I'm very, intelligent doctor, scientist, but I'm still going to serve you your dinner.
I mean, she still became the damsel in distress, though.
Of course she did. I mean, that's a given, but at least they didn't make her serve coffee. Those old man pants, holy Christ. They were in his armpits. They were like in his armpits. I'm like, where do you even buy pants like that? But I guess that's how they wore them back then. Well, not really even back then. It was like the generation before. But he was an old guy, so that's what he went. Oh, anyway, the lying to the public to the point where you're like, you leave the poor guy stuck in a mental hospital, even though he's not crazy. Correct. And he just helped you with your investigation. But you're like, nah, you can stay here.
Yep.
Poor guy. Like, he's got a life to get back to, man. But yeah, they were like purposely leaving out information, purposely like not warning like the city of Los Angeles that, oh yeah, you have giant ants in your city that can like just eat your citizens at any time.
For some reason, because they turned carnivorous.
Right. It's like, okay. Yeah, even though they were still hunting sugar, they were eating people anyway. Maybe they were like putting the sugar in the people and then eating them.
Or maybe just the little amounts of sugar that people were eating, they just like, ooh, extra tasty humans.
Yeah, I guess so. From what I understand, humans are salty, not sweet. But I don't know that firsthand. Wink, wink.
Maybe the atomic changed them to one salt.
Maybe. All right, that's all I got.
All right, so what are olives this week?
We're doing high waistbands because there's a lot of high waistbands in these movies. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not horrible.
It's not good.
It's not good. No, it's not as bad as a lot of other movies of this era, right? There's a lot of other atomic monsters that are way worse than this one, so it's on the higher end of that. But those don't rate really highly for me. So I'm gonna do 5.
Yeah, I can get there. I'm gonna go 5.5 because it is a classic. It's close to it, but yeah, it's like not like the Wasp Woman where she becomes like fused with a wasp by radiation, or like the Incredible Melting Man that's radiation starts melting.
Or like the gorilla suit with the space helmet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the atomic age is either giant creatures or humans fusing with animals.
Yeah,
that's the atomic age in a nutshell. That's why I'm going 5.5. Like I said, you should watch it once just to see it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie to watch once. Do I want to watch it again? No. Will you probably see it in the background of other movies? Like, when people are watching TV in the background, you probably will. I mean,
hands down.
This is one of the movies that they like to show a lot.
Hands down. So, all right.
Okay, so next up we have Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the original one from 1956.
Yeah. All right. So we start off with our protagonist kind of explain like, oh, I'm in this asylum. You guys wouldn't believe me what's happening. I have to tell you the story that no one will believe. And then we flash back to him telling the story. Saint Mamar, what was that town? Small town.
Santa Mira.
Santa Mira. Small town USA, essentially. But a doctor that's been at like a convention for a couple of weeks, I think, just comes back and is like, "Oh, all these people were trying to see you, and you're gonna be very busy." Like, well, I told them to go see other people. Like, no, they only wanted to see you. Oh, I have to get back to work. Oh, by the way, my love interest that is also a doctor is recently divorced or widowed. I gotta get me some of that. So there's that love plot line that's always.
She was a doctor?
Yeah.
She doesn't have any doctor skills.
I think she was like a psychologist.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, she didn't know how to use like a hypodermic needle.
Not medicine, doctor. That's too far.
I was gonna say, like, I don't remember. Like, I remember him having like explain how to use a hypodermic needle. Like, I'm pretty sure she wasn't a doctor.
Yeah, so he goes there, and as he's driving to pick her up, he's like, "Oh, a little boy's like screaming and running away. Ah, he's the one to go to school. Don't blame him." Okay, but he's like screaming, like, "My mom's not really my mom." And the woman, in other words, like, "That's my sister's not really my sister." They go, "Okay, sure." All this is going on, and people start acting a little bit weird. This woman's father also is like, "Hey, things are okay. Let me just. I was working in my basement." And he's like, "Okay, cool." And like, I don't know how these people are supposed to be. Like, the dad doesn't seem that old either.
Well, we're from an age where like you hit like 20 and then you just age to like middle age and then you just stay there for like 30 years.
Right. But yeah, all that's going on there, and people are like, this is weird. Like, all of a sudden he's like, working in the basement. Huh, that's weird. So he then breaks into the basement and finds like a copy of this woman that he likes in like a chest freezer, almost, it seems like, right?
Well, yeah. The
Right?
equivalent of, yes.
Yeah. And like all this stuff's going on there. More people are saying that there's imposters, and like there's a guy that's dead that matches the same height and weights of the missing guy. But it can't be him. Looks nothing like them. And it like, comes back to life and just gets out of the movie.
Well, also you have to say that like they called the doctor over to check this thing out.
Yeah.
And it looked like what everybody described it as a blank slate.
Right.
Like it looked like a human blank. Like there was no fingerprints. There was no like distinguishing features of any kind. It kind of matched the height and weight of the guy who lived there.
Right.
Yeah.
But he essentially, they go check out, and he's like, "Oh, he's bleeding from his hand. That's weird." And they come back, and he's just gone. Like, that's bizarre. Like, are you sure he was dead? Are you sure it's all this stuff? No. But eventually they're just kind of going through, like, there's essentially hysteria. People are just like, emotionless people are getting replaced. Don't go to sleep. And we find out eventually that, the guy checks the greenhouse. There's like these pods are just like growing copies of the people that are there. Like, okay, this is really, really bad. We have to get out. And then like everyone kind of like, goes back to the doctor's office. Like, the people just flat out said, yeah, we're replacing people. As soon as you go to sleep, you're gone. Sorry. Like, shit, what do we do? Like, oh, let's, at this point, I would assume, like, oh, maybe if we took drugs, the transfer wouldn't happen because our minds wouldn't be clear, right? And they start getting medicine. They don't show us what the medicine is. You think, oh, maybe they'll just get a little bit high, so if they do go to sleep, the transfer wouldn't happen. No, they just use needles and knock out these pod people, assuming that it works, and knocks them out pretty damn fast. So, the main doctor and his girl just are trying to escape. They go into mines, they hide there, and he's like, yeah, I gotta go check out what's going on. You stay here, but stay awake. He goes back to town, just sees, trucks being loaded with pods. Like, well, this isn't good. goes back, and she fell asleep, and then all of a sudden she's been a pod person. That's not good. So he's like, on the run to the highway, and they're like, yeah, let him run. No one will believe him. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, so at this point, I'm like, okay, so what the fuck was the other half of this movie about where you're chasing them all over town?
Right.
Like, if they could have just ended this way, why didn't you just let him go?
Yeah. But essentially, he goes there, tells his story. He's like, yeah, all this is happening, and he sees, like goes in there and goes past like an army truck that's just filled with pods, and like you're never gonna believe it. And then a guy comes in, like, yeah, there's this weird things that's happening at this town, and looked like there's pods of stuff. They're like, oh shit, and movie's done.
Yeah,
So,
well, they say like lock down all the highways, make
Yeah.
sure no traffic comes in and out of Santa Mira. But like there was already at least one truck
yeah,
full of pods that got out. So again, yeah, that's one of the things I'm like, is that a good or a bad ending? Like, oh yeah, they found out where like ground zero was, but like how far has it already spread?
yeah. I mean, the truck that had like 4 city names on. I'm like, well, that's not enough pods for that many people.
Well,
But-
yeah, but like it only, once you get one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yep, it's like too late. And he screams at us like, it's coming for us. It's too late. You're next. You're next. And the movie ends.
Yeah.
So, the lesson is beware of your neighbors. They might be pod people.
It's correct.
Had you seen this one all the way through?
All the way through, no.
I know
Again,
you've seen the remakes for sure, right?
I don't think I've seen them all the way through. Honestly,
Oh.
I know what they are. I know, again, if you show me pictures from the film, I could have told you what film it was, but it's
Mhm.
not. Yeah, not a film that I sat and watched from beginning to end.
Gotcha.
This one or the '70s one.
What about Invasion with Daniel Craig?
No.
Oh, you probably didn't watch the 1993 one.
I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes it's movies that I've seen and I won't know until I've seen it, started watching them. But like this one and the '70s one, I've seen enough, pictures
Oh, yeah.
and clips from to know that I've never seen it all the way through. But
Well, I'd
again,
say
I
the
know
70
them. I know all the classic parts of them. I've just never seen them all the way through.
And I would say that the 70s one, the ending shot is spoiled for everyone.
Correct. Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's
to
that
be
shot.
fair, it came out in the '70s. Yeah.
Right. But I'm saying it's like that shot. If you know that shot, you know exactly the ending of the movie.
Right.
So, yeah, I've seen this many times. I've seen all versions. I like them all. I'll go first with my highlights. Mass hysteria. It's they say that an awful lot, and it's just like, oh, just mass hysteria, mass hysteria. Well, I mean, sure, but it's true.
Yeah, but he's like, oh, it's mass hysteria. It seems to be like contagious or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. Isn't that something you should be fucking concerned about as a psychologist?
That
No.
everyone in your town's going through mass hysteria. I think so, but it just
Yeah, he's like, nah, I got shit to do today, so yeah, I guess I'll talk to her tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bring her in the afternoon. Like, dude.
yeah. But it's just funny how he just ignores it. So I think that's a highlight. He's
Wow.
like, he just doesn't give a shit. The pods. I think the pods were good practical effects for that time period. Not as grotesque body horror as the 70s one, but pretty damn close. I do appreciate it. They are classic. It is a bad ending. Like the world's being taken over as far as we're aware.
Well, again, if it was a bad ending, it would have been they close the door and talk to each other in the hallway and go, oh, we got one more for the pods.
Yeah.
That would be very bad. That would be like the world has already been taken over. This one, at least there's enough people to like lock down that town.
Yeah.
Right. So like at least some actual people are left. So as I said, it could be good. It could be bad. Right. It could be good, meaning like, okay, they lock down the town and they're going to get to the bottom of it and stop it, or bad, meaning it's already bad and it's already past that point. And that doing that is not going to save anything.
Yeah, that's why I like to believe is the actual is that one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember the opening scene from the 70s one. It's the same guy running through the streets as he's the running crazy yelling man, and he's going through the same streets and yelling the same thing at the beginning of the remake. So I'm like, and I never realized it ended this essentially the same way the 70s one started. So I go, is it actually like a secret sequel remake?
Well,
Like,
unless he time traveled 20 years in the future.
I know, but you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's still happening. It just took a very long time for it to happen. You know, essentially, I'd say that the '70s one ended with like everyone's taking over.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, that's I just think it's funny that they bring him back to say the same thing. So I do appreciate that. Well, that's what I have. How about you?
Um, yeah, so like the intro and the kind of build up is good. It's like a slow burn, right?
Mhm.
Like we start off with kind of like a guy that's like kind of happy go lucky, just like, you know, more interested in his date with this girl that's been missing for a while, than he is about these patients. The patients are like, oh, there's horrible shit. Like, I don't know who these people are and stuff. And he's a medical doctor. I don't know why they would go to him for like hallucinations and shit, but they are.
I don't know. Yeah.
But again, it's a interesting thing. Like, we don't actually find out what's going on until it's about halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Before we see like a pod and what it's doing.
Correct.
We see the body, like a blank body, but we don't know what it means or what's going on with it. We don't really figure out what's going on until he finds the pods in the greenhouse and he sees them become people, like from seeds to people. That's when we finally figured out what's going on. But, to get to that point, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of like, they're like investigating a lot.
Yeah. Is it mass hysteria or is it real?
Right.
Yeah.
I thought the blank slate body was cool. It's like a human blank. You get it to like that point, and then when they go to sleep, that's when you like steal their memories and their final looks and all that stuff. That's kind of interesting. Again, like the whole kind of psychological explanation of it, right? We're like, oh, you're just hallucinating. Oh, it's just mass hysteria. It's kind of like, is it? Is it not? Like, I mean, it sounds crazy, but like when you have multiple unrelated people that are describing the exact same thing at the same time. I mean, like, come on, man.
Oh, they were gaslighting them.
I know. It's like, again, if they're all from the same household or something, like, okay, I get it. But like, no, this is like completely all over the town, different walks of life and stuff, and they're all having the same thing. It's like, okay, maybe there's something there. Maybe you guys should like look into this. But no, mass hysteria. Sorry, that's all it is. The pods are interesting. They kind of like the goofy explanation they give it. There's like, oh, there's space seeds.
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. They don't really explain what it is or what they come from or like, how they got there. It just,
correct.
They're here and this is bad and we got to do something.
Yep.
And the hot dog show. They're all sitting at this counter and it says the hot dog show and I'm like, is it like a fucking puppet show? But then I realized, oh no, it's just a hot dog stand. Why do they call it the hot dog show with an exclamation mark? Like, I was expecting like a dancing hot dog to come out.
Oh, we missed that part. That it's copyrighted material. They couldn't put it in the movie.
So, like the hot dog show, that sounds cool. But no, except for high points. So I'll go to low points here. Alcohol and pills cure everything.
Hell yeah, they do.
It's like if you're an adult, here, take a drink. It'll cure everything. If you're a kid, here, keep taking pills. You'll be fine. Like, okay. And there was a scene where I was like, are you for real, dude? Where the cop is like, oh, look, there was a body here. Oh, okay. Are you sure it wasn't dead? Like, no, I'm a medical doctor. I inspected the body. There was no mark on it. He's like, well, you can take an ice pick and stick it through the root of the brain and it'll leave no marks. I'm like, a fucking ice pick leaves no marks? Like, what planet are you from, dude?
Ice picks aren't thin.
Right. I'm like, in what world do you live in where an ice pick would make no mark in the base of your brain? Psychopath.
Yeah.
I know they were like just trying to, like, oh, maybe you're just crazy, but that was like the worst example I can think of.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like the women again are incapable of being anything but victims in this film. Like that's all they do. They just like faint and have trouble keeping up and then just like scream and get hysterical and then freeze up and are unable to do anything.
Hey,
that's like
they need a reason for her to be carried after running for miles to be carried the next 20 feet into the mine shaft.
Right. Okay, the thing that I was like, okay, they're pod people, right?
Yep.
Like the pod people again in their own explanation, like, oh yeah, we don't feel emotion. We don't do any of that kind of stuff. We're just all one unit and being, right? Okay, so that should mean it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman anymore, right? Everybody has equal skills because you're all pod people.
Yep.
But when they go to chase them, it's all men.
Yes.
All the women are just not present. They just, oh yeah, we decided we're not going to run for whatever reason. Like the men are going to do it. Like, okay, if you're truly pod people like you claim, why is there now roles, doled out to the men and the women don't have to do anything? Like, it was just, it's very odd to me. That's, I mean, I know obviously it's just the sexism of the times. Like women can't run.
Right.
But yeah, it's very odd to me. Like, okay, you go on this long tirade about how they're all like, together and equal and perfect and all that, and then you just literally show them unequal the next scene.
Yes.
Which was funny. But again, like the good or bad ending, I guess it's kind of up to you how you want to see the ending. Like it's good that they realized what was happening, or bad because it's too late.
I view it as bad because it's too late.
No, I mean, either way. But that's all I got.
Yeah. I like that he goes, I like my eggs hard boiled. 2 minutes, fine. That's not a hard boiled egg.
Well, maybe he was dipping it in molten lava or something. I don't know.
I'm like, that's barely cooked egg.
What is the perfect one? They call it like the 7-minute egg.
Yeah.
I think the 7-minute egg is like perfectly hard boiled. So like, I think they have to be at least 7 minutes. So 2 minutes is like
soft
poached.
boiled.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they put it in that egg cup that you crack the top and you scoop out your not cooked egg in like pudding.
Yeah. I never, like when I was a kid, I was like, what the fuck is that? Because like when we go out to like breakfast with my grandma, she would get that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that? The egg is like, why is the egg in a little tray by itself and you got to like crack it? Like, what is up with that? Like, I'm just gonna eat my pancakes.
I always thought it looked interesting, but then I realized what it was. I'm like, that's gross.
Yeah, I was never interested in eating it. I just thought it looked fascinating. But no,
yeah.
I've never ordered a poached egg and eaten it.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of eggs in their normal form either. But
yeah. So they eventually, for them to go, you know what, he can run off. No one's going to believe him. But if you want to draw no attention to yourself, how about not set off the alarm? That's just like a blaze and Blackson, right? It's just like a atomic bomb being dropped.
Yeah, it's like an air raid siren.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing is like half of the film at this point has been them chasing him around the town.
Right.
Like if you truly felt that way, why did you bother? Like
Correct.
You could have spent all of that energy and time on spreading more seeds around, but instead you're like trying to catch this one dude, and then he finally gets to the highway and you're like, nah.
Right.
Like you're fucking pod people. It doesn't matter if you die. Like get your ass out on the highway.
Right. Yeah. And I would say for them being emotionless, they sure are angry and have emotions.
Right. Yeah. Again, like they have this long speech about how they're like, perfectly equal beings. And then they literally, like the scenes before and after, they're not acting like that at all.
Correct. So this is the downside for this, because they go, if you fall asleep, the pod person will take you over, but it's a different person. There's a different body that exists. But if you fall asleep, you get somehow taken over.
Yeah, it's data transfer.
It's wireless. Now,
exactly.
In the 70s one, it made sense because if you fell asleep, that's when it would attach itself to you to take you over.
Well, it did something because like when the one in the basement was like trying to take over his girlfriend,
yeah,
he couldn't wake her up.
Yeah.
So she was like under some kind of influence. But yeah, it was not physically attached to her. No.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I think the 70s one makes way more sense for why you don't want to go to sleep. Like you can be thousands of miles away and you're still going to like get taken. Like,
well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, she passes out for a second in a mine that they didn't know they were there.
Yeah.
So like the pod has to like hatch and make the blank first, and then it takes you over. There was no blanks in that cave.
Correct.
And not only that, but it went from blank to full person and like what, he was gone for like what, a minute?
Yeah. He was not gone very long.
Right.
Does that mean if he falls asleep, no matter where he's at, he's done?
From what they're explaining, yes.
Yeah. So like, then why would you ever worry about it? Like, there's never a reason to hide it. What are they gonna do? If you just have some like magical thing, everyone's easily turned into a pod person. Like, never because eventually people are going to have to sleep. You win. Period.
Right. Yeah. There has to be like some kind of like linking procedure.
Yeah, and this movie never discusses that.
It does not.
So that's why it's on that side. Would you like me to go first though for the number of high waistbands out of 10?
Hey, sure.
This is a classic movie. I think 71's more iconic, but this one's still, I think, really good. It's interesting. It's, as you said, doesn't really explain what these things are, why they're there, other than to take it over. It's just like, it's bad stuff. So I will give this 7 high waistbands out of 10. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I really like that. I think it's very well done. Again, there's things I don't like about it, but most of it is just, they're a product of the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like being made in this time, it's great. It's a great film. So again, 56, and you get this good of a movie. It's kind of rare, so I'm gonna give it. I'll give it an 8.
An 8. Nice. All right.
Okay, so now movie number 3 is The Fly, the original Fly from 1958. And of course, the wonderful Vincent Price is in this movie.
Not enough.
Yeah, I would say he's not. It really doesn't feel like he's the main character.
He's not first billing.
No, he's like third billing.
Correct.
Because it's mostly the guy scientist dude, his brother, and his wife are like the main two.
Yeah.
And then he's kind of like there. I don't know, to be Vincent Price, I guess.
He's the rapper story. Rapper.
Right.
But you know what I mean? He's not the main part of the movie. So
right. Yeah, he only kind of, and when they're telling the story. Well, I guess we'll get there. When they're telling the story, he's kind of like a very ancillary character. But
right.
Okay, so essentially, it opens up on a lady murders a man by smashing him in a machine hydraulic press.
Twice.
Yes. So this old man sees her do it. She sees the old man. She runs away. The old man calls the police, and she calls Vincent Price, who is her brother-in-law, saying, "I killed your brother, my husband, and you need to call the police and do something about it." And the old man also calls the police and says, "You need to do something about it." So they're investigating it. It is indeed her husband that was dead on the press, and it looks like this press was configured specifically to murder someone.
What else is a press for? Yeah.
Well, it's made to squish metal, but they were saying specifically like it wasn't using its standard settings. These settings were specifically put in to squish the person to death.
Yeah,
like literally to zero, to like whatever was in that press is unrecognizable. That reasons at the end will become clear why that was set that way. So they're investigating it. They're like, what is going on? Like, why did you do it? And she's like, I can't tell you why. She's like, yes, I killed him. There are reasons why I did, but I can't tell you what they are. And she's like very strange. Like, she's kind of like in and out. Sometimes she's sad. Sometimes she's like happy. Sometimes she like recognizes her son. Sometimes she like doesn't. I guess it's just kind of like trauma, whatever. Anyway, so she is like obsessed with finding this like white-headed fly. And the Vincent Price eventually says, "Oh yeah, I got the white-headed fly. So like now that I have it, why don't you tell me the whole story?" And she's like, "Okay, I will." And so essentially, long story short here is that her husband, the Vincent Price's brother, is a scientist, like a home scientist. And he
with like enough money for home lab.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all kinds of like, fancy machinery that looks like very fancy for 1958.
Yeah.
There's like a reel-to-reel, which for 58, that was high tech.
Correct.
because they were still using that shit in the 70s and 80s. So in the 58, that's like brand new. But anyway, so he's a scientist and he develops in his lab a way to teleport matter from one room to another room. Right. And he's like, oh, it's going to change the world. And he can do inanimate objects. He gets some weird glitches where like it prints out, like backwards or something. But anyway, so like him and his wife are like, he locks himself in this room and works for days at a time. And then he'll come out and be happy when he actually he does something right and it works the way he wants it to. And then when he thinks of something else, he locks himself in, blah, 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 back and forth. So he can do like inanimate objects. He's very happy about that. He decides, I'm going to try testing it on the cat. And he like tests it on the cat and like somehow the cat becomes like a ghost cat.
It dematerializes. We hear the cat somewhere and it never comes back.
Right. It's like the cat is like just not there. It never teleports. And then you hear it like going, like in the walls, like it's a ghost cat.
It's
and
lost
then we
in the
never,
ether.
right. Yeah. We never hear the cat again. It's just gone.
Yep.
And then he like works on it again. And then now he can do it. So then he does it with a guinea pig and the guinea pig's fine. So he's like, if the guinea pig lives for a month, then it'll be good. And then we can like sell it. Right. Cause it's perfect. Month goes by, guinea pig is still fine. They're like, oh yeah, we can like sell it to the public. So they go out and they like celebrate and they do champagne and he like, teleports the champagne, of course. And they're like, oh, this is going to be great. So at some point he decides to test it on himself.
Yep.
They don't really explain why he did that.
He wants it to be, his whole motivation is to make sure that people don't have to travel again.
Right. But again, he's like already at the point where he can teleport matter from one point to another point, right? He can teleport live animals from one point to another point. And instead of like selling that, he decides to test it on himself first. Okay, so he tests it on himself and then he's like locks himself in his lab and he won't come out. And the wife is like, oh, you haven't come out, you haven't eaten your dinner, like what's going on? And then she starts communicating to her with typed messages.
Yes.
He says, I can't talk. Don't try talking to me. Like I can understand you. I'll communicate with you through like knocking and this typing, but don't expect me to talk because I can't.
Oh, and by the way, give me some milk laced with rum.
Right. Milk with rum. I'm like, milk with rum. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not what flies eat, but like, okay.
It sounds disgusting.
Right. I'm like, no way. So yeah, she brings the milk with rum, and he's wearing like a hood over his head, and he's hiding his one arm.
Yep.
And so she has to go in the other room where he like slurps up this milk with rum, like with the hood still over his head. And he's like, oh, you need to help me find this white-headed fly. And it's in the other room. And she's like, oh, it's not in the other room. And he's like, oh, we need to find it. And she's like, oh, the son found it earlier and he was out in the outside. So it's like outside somewhere. And he like flips out.
Yep. And
he's like, all right, well, you need to concentrate and to find this fly tomorrow. And if you don't find the fly tomorrow, I'm going to have to kill myself. And she's like, oh, okay, that's a lot, but okay, I'm going to go to sleep. We'll try again in the morning. So he types out the whole thing that he did and gives it to her in the morning. And she reads it, and essentially it is, I tried to teleport myself, and a fly was in the teleporter. And when I teleported over, me and the fly somehow traded parts.
Yeah.
And so, we have traded. We haven't seen the fly yet at this point, but he does explain to her that that's what happened. So he said, we have to find this white-headed fly so that we can put both of us in the machine again, do it again, and hopefully untangle ourselves.
Well, hopefully being the key word there.
Right. I mean, you might end up being a quarter people instead of half people. Right. So,
right. Yeah.
Who knows? But that was his plan for that point. So they're out there trying to find the white fly. They kind of find the white fly, and then it gets away, and they find it, gets away, find it, gets away, blah, blah, blah. They never find it. So they basically go back down, and he explains to her, like, I'm going to have to, like, kill myself now because, like, I'm starting to lose grip on my sanity. I can feel my intelligence slipping away. Like, I need to do something, because, like, no one can use this. Like, this is, horrible things can happen if people actually try to use this technology. We need to destroy the technology and then destroy me, so people won't understand what happened.
Right.
And of course she like, you know, kind of panics and like grabs the hood so that she can see what's going on. And of course he has a fly head.
Yeah.
And one fly arm.
Yes.
So she screams a lot. If you seen the picture of like her screaming face is usually like the poster for the movie.
Oh, sure is.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, I guess we'll kill you because we don't really have a choice. So he walks her to the press. He sets up the press, but tells her you have to push the button. So she pushes the button, but it's by his request.
Yeah.
And then she has to do it twice because the first time only his head got crushed and his other fly arm was still out. So she had to flop his fly arm in there and then crush it again. That's why the machine ran twice. So he's dead. That's when the whole wrapper happens. We go back to her being in bed talking to Vincent Price. Vincent Price admits, I never had the white-headed fly. I just said that so that I could get the full information. She like flips out because now the police think that she's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're literally sending her off to the crazy house. And so they're like, oh man, there's nothing we can do. You know, Vincent Price is like, you know, is this really necessary? Do you really have to do this? Like, because he believes her story. And they're like, yeah, we have to, like, unless you can show me this magic fly, like, otherwise this is what we have to do. So the son is like, oh, I found that white-headed fly again. And so they run out and they find the white-headed fly stuck in a spider's web. Bonus FX, so like fantastic FX on this web and spider.
Yeah.
It is top notch. And essentially they see the fly in the web. They proceed to do nothing but watch it be slowly devoured by a spider. But anyway, the head and arm of the brother are on this fly, and he's speaking like, help me, you know, like that.
That's,
so he's
that
like
classic scene that everyone knows. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he's like alive and has his intelligence as that person, but with a fly body, and then he gets consumed by the spider, and then they kill both the fly and the spider with a big rock
for some reason.
Right. And then the cop goes, so Vincent Price says, well, you killed the only evidence we have, but now you know she's telling the truth. So then they come up with this thing of like, oh, he just committed suicide and she just, you know, was there. You know, she just found him after he had already done it.
Right.
And then so they like save her, and then at the end, I think it's kind of a bizarre ending, is where they kind of make it seem like she's like happily ever after now. So where she's like super happy with her son, and it kind of seems like she might be like with Vincent Price now,
who's always been in love with her.
Right. So now that it's like, it's kind of like a happily ever after ending after all that.
Yeah, not happily ever after for the scientist.
No, not that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, wow. I'll talk about that later, but yeah, that's the end.
Yep. Now, have you seen this one all the way through, or only the David Cronenberg one?
The Cronenberg one I've definitely seen all the way through. This one I have not seen all the way through.
Okay.
Again, I saw that, I knew what the fly with the head and arm looked like in the web. I knew what his fly face looked like. You know, like I had seen pictures of these things, and I knew the story of it, but I'd never watched it. Beginning to end.
It's David Cronenberg did a great remake of it.
Oh yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's I didn't realize, well, again, because I had never really watched all the way through the original one, like how much of a just, you know, like it really is a remake. Like it's really like a very similar story. I mean, yeah, there's obviously things that are changed in that it's not his wife, it's just his girlfriend.
Right.
You know, but stuff like that, you know, but and there's a magic talking computer. with genius level AI. But it's essentially the same story.
Yep.
Only I guess it's a lot more drawn out, because like Brundlefly happens over like weeks.
Correct.
To where like in this it's like literally one day.
Right. But same obsession, same locking up in the lab and being distance, and you know.
Right, and same like, you know, again the Cronenberg fly has a lot more like kind of confrontation. At the end, but like at the very end, we're willing to give up wanting to kill yourself, just like the other one. Like it ends in the kind of the same way.
Correct. Yeah. So Yeah, I've seen this multiple times. It's Vincent Price. Like I said, I went through a Vincent Price thing. I'm like, I'm watching everything Vincent Price.
Well, that's part of the reason why I kind of organized this month is like I felt like my 50s was lacking. Like I really had like realized like how few of these 50s movies I had actually watched
in its entirety.
Correct. Yeah, like I know these movies, but it's like I was sitting there thinking like, have I ever like just sat down and watched these? And like most of them I haven't. So this is why I'm doing it.
Yep. And I'm okay with that.
Yay.
All right. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first. It's fine.
Okay.
So again, the 50s tech explanation I think is fantastic because it's like, what a bunch of shit, but it sounds great for the 50s.
Oh, easily.
But like the 50s tech, there's like wires and everywhere, and he's like, let me check my computer, and it was like this giant like just patch panel of wires in the wall. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, lots of dials, like I said, the reel to reel, lots of neon.
Yeah.
It's like the technology of the 50s is amazing to me. It looks cool. Like nowadays you just get like a little black box that just does things.
Yep.
Like there's no cool like parts that move or blink and shit anymore. I miss that part. I mean, that wife's loyalty, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
She was on board for like everything. I mean, she was like obviously like freaked out when she saw his face and shit, but she was just like locked herself down, was like, no, this is what I have to do to support my husband is I have to go kill him. Right. She was on board with it. Yeah, it was more of a 50s kind of housewifey ideal thing, but like still like her kind of most movies is like they run away and then they have to like do it themselves or whatever. But no, she was on board for the whole thing. I was like, that was admirable. And again, the ending, it's a bizarre happily ever after for Vincent Price, the wife, and the son, but like the ending for the scientist is horrible.
Yeah.
Like one, he has this slow degrade of like falling into like fly brain, like trying to save himself, and he has to kill himself, right, to like save himself before he like eats his wife or whatever the fuck he was gonna do. And then he like his intelligence comes back in the fly, and then he gets stuck in a web and slowly devoured by a spider.
Yeah.
That is a horrible, horrible ending for that poor guy. And then like they get this happily ever after of like playing fucking croquet in the backyard at a picnic and shit, and he gets eaten by a fucking spider. Like, wow, that is just of like a black and white bad and good ending. Bizarre. I love it. I think it's like it's a weird, kind of opposing viewpoint, but I think it's great. So it's on my good side. But that's all I got.
Vincent Price, great in it as always. He's not a character actor. He's Vincent Price as Vincent Price.
Yeah. Yeah, like every movie. Like I think there's a couple where he has like he kind of pretends to have an accent. Yeah. Like that's about as different as he gets. But the accent usually wears off like halfway through the movie anyway.
Easily wears off, yeah. Like I said, the teleporters were quite interesting. As you said, the set is great. And as you said, the reel to reel, like that's how they transfer the data. It's like going reel to reel and reel to reel to the other side.
Right. And like knowing like how much data is involved inside of DNA, like it's laughably funny how they thought they could like contain DNA in a reel to reel server, one single reel to reel server. Yeah. Okay.
Didn't we say it's like an exabyte?
Yeah. It's something insanely big. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy that. It's the neon for everything. Set design's great. Everyone knows the help me. Everyone knows the fly being unmasked or her screaming through the fly's eyes. Right. It's very, there's a lot of very iconic things that has made it into mainstream, which is great. And I said too, it's for the scientists, it's a fucking bad ending. Like it is.
Like really bad.
Yeah. So love all that. And like I like that he's like, his first order is rum and milk. Then he's trying to like eat a steak and mashed potatoes and peas. Like, wait a minute. Like,
yeah, like I mean, hold on.
He's becoming less human.
Right.
And yeah, that steak looked way too tough for a fly to eat.
I don't know. Yeah, like, hey, you're turning into a fly. Here's a nice meal. I don't understand that, but
yeah, and yeah, all of my low points. Yeah, once again, milk bad for cats.
yeah, I knew that. I know they always show cats eating cream or milk or whatever,
Yeah.
and I knew that's bad for them. I've never done it, but it is a very common thing in movies and even like cartoons and shit of like
Yeah.
giving cats milk.
I really want, and I also like, where did the cat go?
I don't know. Like, if it's meowing, that means it's still like together in some sense.
It's
right?
ethereal.
Right. But like, it's still like, all of its like its consciousness would still have to be there to be able to meow.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just like, okay. So its consciousness is just like in the wall. And then it just, next scene, cat gone.
Yep.
Just done.
Yeah. Using a guinea pig to determine and let it try to keep a guinea pig alive for a month to determine whether that teleportation worked or not. That's a bad animal to test that with. Guinea pigs notoriously just die for no reason.
I've never had a guinea pig.
And it took them a very long time to think, hey, what's a good way to trap flies? Sugar. It took you like an hour and 15 minutes. Like, think of that.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you're looking for like one specific fly, like, and it's outside, good fucking luck.
Yeah.
Like, you are not going to find one single fly in the entirety of the outside world. No way.
Correct. Yeah, it's, and the thing is, like, so if they're saying that, he went, his DNA got merged with the fly because there's two different things in that teleportation. The guinea pig had something in it with it. It did become half less, half guinea pig. The champagne had multiple things in it. And it was able to rearrange multiple items in the correct order, which is interesting, right? Because you'd think that it wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, I mean, yeah, the whole concept is is not correct, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, the champagne should have been like half metal,
right? The guinea pig should have been half lettuce,
right? Yeah, or something. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's no explanation, but then we don't have a movie if that happens.
I know, but like in his math for how this all works, his math is like what a 4 foot by 2 foot chalkboard. That all the math is required for teleportation is that small thing.
Yeah. That's all you need, man.
And he's like, I don't understand how it happened or why it works. What?
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, you are the only one involved in this process. Like, you put that shit together from scratch. If you don't know how it works, then you were gifted it by an alien or something.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, the bizarre, like surreal happy ending. And then of course the weirdest thing is everyone has French names.
Yeah, that's my first thing. I'm like, okay. Like, we got Francois and Andre, and like everybody's has like French names, and then like the maid has a French accent, the cops have a French accent. Like, Vincent Price's brother and his wife are the only ones that don't.
Correct.
And I'm just like, okay, is this like set in France and they just decided like to just tell the American actors don't bother with an accent? Like, everybody else will just have an accent?
I think so.
I did figure it out. Are you done with yours?
Oh, and the last thing is, like, this one was in color, but the next ones are in black and white, which is a really weird choice.
It's big money, man.
I know, but yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for my low points, we'll go back to French, right? So I'm sitting here trying to figure it out. I'm like, are they in France? I'm like, it's like maybe this thing is set in France, and because they did that a lot, right? They would have things set in a different place, and they would have like the names and the places would be like another country, but everybody else had normal accents, so it's very confusing. At the very end, if you look at the cop car that pulls up, it says Montreal on it.
So it's French Canadian.
Right. That's what I was like, okay, now that makes a little bit more sense why there's French people and normal, like, English American sounding, well, Canadian sounding people, right?
Yeah.
Because they're in Montreal. Yes. French. Yes. Okay. Now it makes sense. But it was like, that doesn't come until the very end of the movie. Like, when the police are coming to like pick her up after she's done telling the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
So like up until that point, I'm like, where is this? Is this in Paris? It's like the old man that runs the industrial place. He had a very thick French accent. He's the first one that talks in the movie. You're like, oh man, this is a weird setting, but that's what it is.
Okay.
They're in Montreal.
Gotcha.
So, the poor cat, poor Dandelo, getting stuck. Now, I felt bad for Gen Z when I was watching this movie because he was writing down everything on that blackboard in cursive.
Yes, he was.
And Gen Z does not know how to read cursive. So Gen Z is going like, what is he saying? What is he saying? I was like, I bet you that's like, this is even more suspense for Gen Z because they can't read cursive. I could barely, I mean, I haven't used cursive in a long time, but I did learn it and I could barely understand it. So I can only imagine how bad it is for somebody that never learned it.
Mm-hmm.
Getting eaten by a giant spider, dude.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I like that they waited for him to be eaten instead of just killing him.
Yeah. They watch it. He was like, hit me. And they're like, hey, look, he's in the web. like, dude, he's like dying in the web. Like the spider is like moving like as slow as like, dude, you could have used that rock way earlier.
And just killed the spider.
Yeah. But again, if he really had human intelligence, how the fuck did he get in the web anyway?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had a human brain. Maybe he didn't know how to use his fly body. And so he was flopping around and got stuck in the web. I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, I talked about that bizarre happy ending. Like, yeah, we're all happy the dude's dead and everybody just doesn't give a shit. But even like when she was done, like murdering him with the industrial press, like the next day she's like, oh, what a beautiful morning. It's like, you must have really not liked your husband, even though you like were very dedicated to like helping him. And then the next day you're like, it's done.
Hey, as she said, he had no mistresses and I had no lovers.
Yeah, including each other, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
So, we'll say how many high waistbands out of 10 for The Fly. It is a great movie.
Yes.
It is great. Do I like it more than Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Yeah. I do. Yeah. I think this is a great movie. It's a classic movie. I mean, it's a classic Vincent Price movie, even though I don't think he's really a main character. He's more like a third billing character. But it's just a fun, well-told story, especially in 58, in color. I looked it up. I was like, was this originally in color? Because a lot of these we watch and they're colorized. But no, this one was originally in color.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna go to a 9.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm saying 9. And I think the only reason why Vincent Price was not the Doctor is so his face wouldn't be covered most of the movie.
Right, he was like, I refuse to have my face covered.
Yeah, and not hear his voice. Yeah, that's his thing.
Yeah, okay, that does make sense.
Yeah,
he's like, I like this project. I want to be a part of the project, but I don't want to be the guy with the hood that can't talk.
Yeah, he has to have his monologues and soliloquies.
Yes.
Yep. 9 for sure. So.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, take us home.
All right. So now that we got those classics out of the way, it's time for another deep dive into a classic franchise that has roots in the 50s. That's right. It's the Blob. No one can stop the Blob. So we watched the original, the 50s original, with the scary jelly. And the sequel, Beware the Blob, which I've never seen.
I don't recall.
I don't know anything about it. I just know it was like the 70s, I think.
Correct. Yeah.
Don't know anything about it. Never seen it. But the 80s remake I did see. I saw quite a few times. So I think it's 88 is the remake of the Blob, which I was kind of surprised never got more sequels because it was like pretty big. I remember like people saying how great it was at that time. I mean, I was also like a kid, so.
Well, they've been in talks for making a new one for a number of years now. I don't know why they haven't.
Yeah, but again, like I just for the 80s, especially around that time period, like if you had a semi-successful movie, you would guaranteed to get a sequel.
And it wasn't a slasher.
Right. And there was no sequel to it. And I was very like surprised. Like, I remember looking for the sequel for like, you know, a couple of years ago and like, well, how come there's no sequel?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not. So, yeah, so that's what we're going to do next week. And then after that, we're going to do our director spotlight, but I'm not going to tell you who it is yet.
Oh.
I'll let Gravy tell you next week.
All right.
So remember, we watch bad movies, so you don't have to.
And this has been Graveyard saying, "Have you checked on the children?"
This is Salem saying, long live the new flesh.